Okay, so we're going to set the value to the contact to edit. So we want to say this dot props dot contact to edit dot name. Alright, and I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy the value and also the on change and paste that here and here, except we want to change this one to phone, change this to phone, and then this one to email. Alright, and then let's see, for the handle submit, we're going to do this same thing, except I want to include the ID here as well. Alright, so ID is going to be this dot props dot contact to edit dot ID. Alright, and then the rest of this stuff can stay the same. And then we want to call our action update contact. Alright, and then we need to do the handle on change, or what do they call it? Handle change. Alright, so for this, now this is a little weird. It's the way that this works is if you don't have this on change, you can't pre-fill the input, and it's just it's a weird quirk that React has that I really don't like. So the way around it, I just set a state called selected. Alright, so actually this is going to take in field name and event. Okay, so we're going to just call this new state, and that's going to equal event.target value. Okay, so whatever we type in the input, it's going to set this to this variable. Okay, then we're going to say selected equals this dot state dot selected, and then we're going to say selected dot name equal to new state, and then this dot set state selected and selected. Alright, so let's see what happens when we click the edit. Okay, so nothing's happening yet. Let's see, handle submit, and it looks like we're getting edit form is not defined. Alright, so let's see, let's go to app. Edit form. Huh. Just where is that? React create element. What am I missing here? Alright, so let's try to kind of retrace. If we go to our contact component, we have handle edit, and then that's going to edit contact, which is in actions. Okay, and let's just do console.log. Make sure, oh, we need to run go. Now see, when I'm doing just regular development like I did to create this project, I have 6 different monitors, and I usually dedicate one to the terminal, but unfortunately now I'm doing it inside of a virtual machine, so I only have 1 monitor. So this keeps happening. Alright, so let's see, console edit. Okay, so we know that that's being sent, and look up here. Now whenever I click edit, it's going to put that particular contact in the form. Alright, so that's exactly what we want. Now when we submit, like let's say we want to change this to John Doe's. Okay, now this here, can't read property selected of null. Don't worry about that. That's just a warning, and that has to do with the whole form value thing. Now this update contact is not a function. That means we have to create that. So in our app actions, we're going to create update contact. And I'm going to just copy this remove contact and change that to update. Okay, instead of an ID, it's going to pass along the whole contact object. Same thing here. Alright, we'll save that. Now we're going to have to go, actually let's add our constant. We got to change that to update. Alright, and then we'll go to constants. Okay, now to the app store.js, and then we're going to go down here. I'm going to copy this remove contact. Say updating. Okay, this will be the store update. And that's going to be action.contact. This will be the API update. Okay, change that. Okay, now we need to go up here and create update contact. Now what we're going to do is we're going to loop through the current contacts, and then we're going to say if this ID of the one we're updating matches the current iteration, then we want to edit it. We want to first splice and then push our new information in. Alright, so we're going to pass in contact, and then we're going to do a for loop. Okay, so we're going to say for, and then we're going to set I to 0. We'll say as long as I is less than contacts dot length, then we want to increment, and we're going to do an if. We're going to say if underscore contacts current iteration dot ID is equal to the contact ID that we're passing in, then we're going to say contacts.splice, oops, and we're going to pass in I and then 1, and then we just want to do a push, oops, contacts.push and contact. Alright, so let's save that, and that should take care of the store part of it. It won't persist, but we can at least test it out here. So John Doe's submit, let's see, app API is not a function, we know that. Let's actually comment that out for a second. Okay, let me check my command line. That looks good. Okay, so I changed it to John Does. Click submit, and down here you can see that it changed. Alright, but if I reload, it's going to go back to John Doe because it didn't persist. Okay, so what we need to do now is create that API function. So we'll uncomment that, and then we're going to go to app API, and let's see, let's just say update contact. That's going to take in contact, and we want to grab the ID out of the object, so we're going to say var ID, and set that to contact.id. Then what I want to do is build a contact object to submit that doesn't have the ID in it. Alright, so we're going to call this updated contact and set that to an object with a name. So we'll grab the name. Okay, because we don't want to include the ID here. Firebase is going to do that. And then all we need to do is, let me just grab that. Okay, so let's see. We want to change this to contact.id and then just add on to that /contact. Alright, and then down here we want to change this to update and pass in updated contact. Alright, so let's save that. Make sure that everything's alright. Alright, so let's see. Edit John Doe. We'll change into John Williams. Change his number. And submit. He changes there, but if we reload, John Williams. Yep, so it did persist. Alright, if we look at it in here, you can see it's also changed in Firebase. Alright, so we now have a full CRUD functionality application. Alright, now you may think that there's a lot of code here just to have a simple CRUD application, but the great thing about Flux and React is that it's very scalable. Alright, so if you want to add other resources and other functionality, it's going to be really easy. You saw we repeat pretty much the same steps over and over to get more and more functionality. Alright, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this project, and I'll see you in the next one.